Blog Talk Radio. Today is Wednesday, March 1st. Yeah, it has marched on in, I tell you. 2017 is just rolling on by. Well, this is Foxology Today. I am Silver Ray Fox, your host. Happy day to you wherever you are. And thanks for giving a listening ear. Today I do so appreciate you. There is no doubt about that. So thank you for being a part of my audience. But, hey, you know what? There is often some doubt about when you're unemployed, and I know this. I've been there. It's a time when life and things can feel quite uncomfortable, to say the least, shaky, and, oh, God, there can be so much doubt about what's going to happen with you and your family if you have one, and your job, career, future, all of those pose doubts and questions. But even though that time can be full of uncertainty, you know what? It helps if you have a plan. Yeah, things can often work out when you do. Well, my guest today is an author, motivational coach and speaker, a specialist in the area of employee assessment and the workplace. And if you're unemployed today, he says there's a checklist for that, and he's got it. He's Jeff Percival, and I am so glad to have you today, Jeff. Thanks for being my special guest.
Silver, it's always my pleasure. You are always fun to talk with.
Well, I'm going to tell people we got a little bit of history because when I was doing land radio with Cassandra McShepard, we called you our resident optimist.
That's right. I remember those days.
Yeah, we had you on, fairly frequently every month or so, or not a couple of months even went by before we had you back again, talking to our audience about lots of good things about work and the workplace and all of that. So we enjoyed having you, and I know that it's I have my radio BFFs, and you're one of them for sure. So I'm looking forward to sharing this information with people. So am I. Well, you know what? It's a topic that is so familiar to a lot of people. I venture to say a great majority of people have been unemployed at some point in time, whether it's been short or long. And short or long, it's never a very comfortable place. And it's great to have people like you. When I thought about this, I said, if anybody is going to motivate and inspire people, try to keep their head in the right place in that in-between time, you are certainly the guy that can help do that. But I'd like to ask you, when people come to you or you go to them, what is their general state of mind? Are people initially feeling a little discouraged, defeated, or what? Because, job loss happens and people get laid off, fired, the company closed or moved. There's so many reasons that condition can happen. How are they when they come up close and personal to you, Jeff?
Well, a lot depends on how long they've been in the workforce, been in the workplace. The longer they've been at one particular job and suddenly find themselves unemployed, the greater the impact on that person. It's like they're being cut off at the knees. So everything that they've relied on, everything that they've thought on, and it's a really disheartening time. I've seen people in major depressions because of that.
Wow.
If you're younger and you've only been working at a place for a few years, it doesn't hurt as much, but it still hurts.
When work has become your workplace has become your second home, I can certainly understand how that happens. What I think is really wise is that you're a coach for people, and I think for people who can reach out and find somebody to do, basically professional hand holding, and I think it's an amazing thing. And maybe some people you can share your thoughts on this. And I don't like to use the word fail in the sense of failure, but hesitate maybe to use that as a component or tool to getting to the next place. Finding you is easy because you're all over the internet. It's a wise thing can they find the kind of coaching that you offer, for instance, at the unemployment office and places like that?
Well, when it comes to, for example, I just moved here to North Carolina, and there's some North Carolina work centers. Yes, they address issues of resumes and interviewing skills and practice. They address some of the hard skills. I work on some of the soft skills because it's that attitude that's going to impact just about everything that you touch. If you've had 3 interviews which you did not get the job, and so unless you work with yourself, you're going to be saying, oh, geez, I didn't get the last one. Why should I get this one? So you're going to be doing negative talk to yourself, which, I just try to help people to refocus themselves when they get to that point on the positives of what are the benefits of finding that successful employment. What is it that you want in successful employment? So maybe those other jobs weren't the best ones for you because they didn't have what you were actually looking for. And that's what a lot of people screw up when they're in, they think, oh, I just need a job right away. Well, no, you don't need a job. You need something that's going to complement you, something that you're going to fit, and I use that term job fit a lot, that you're going to fit with your talents, abilities, and attitudes. So a long way around it.
I think that's great advice.
I mean, you need someone that you can talk to in regards, and it's going to be real frank with you. I mean, I tell a lot of people things they don't want to hear, but it helps them to refocus on what they do want.
Exactly. Well, I know that you have a checklist for people, and I love it because what it does is present a plan. And I think it also helps them to present their best self, because the job force, regardless of what kind of job you're looking for, if you're, entry level or the highest level, it's very competitive. And how you present yourself is everything. I know statistics show that hiring personnel are very impressed at what you talked about, the attitude and the quality of presentation. And often those people will get the job even over those who seem to be more qualified for the job. So the information you're sharing today is very critical. I know you have a checklist, so let's go ahead and start with that. I love your first one, so why don't you go ahead and tell us about that. Personalized business cards are needed. You
just said it earlier, that you're now presenting yourself. You have to give the best presentation of yourself possible. And working with unemployed people as long as I have, 30-some years, I only have my resume with me. Well, many times you're out in the just everyday life, you should be carrying your own personal business cards. And it should be personalized to you and the search that you're involved with. Now, I recommend a 2-sided business card. The front of the card, sure, it's all of your contact information and the important things, and if you've got degrees that matter in the job search, put that on there. But then on the back, that's when you really want to be putting what is it you're looking for? What is it that you're good at, your talents, your abilities? But you don't want to fill up the whole back, because when you meet people at networking events or you meet someone in a situation you're going to exchange business cards, you want to put a note on the back of the card as to how will you remember them. Because I've seen job seekers go to networking events and they collect all these business cards. Well, how are you going to sort out who that person was unless you've personalized it with a particular note? And so how are you going to remember this person? Oh yeah, I'll send you a resume, or I'll send you this, or you put those notes on the back of the business card. So on the front, you've got your contact information and credentials, if that's important for the job that you're searching for. And then on the back side, the qualities and attributes that's going to make that company want to say, wait a minute, I need to find out more about this person. Wow, that's interesting. But also leave room to make notes.
And you know what else, Jeff, when I see the power of a business card, and some people may be asking, well, I haven't done enough stuff to have, present a business card. it's a powerful thing whether you got 2 months of work experience or 20 years, because it makes you feel empowered for one thing, and you want to create that feeling in yourself. And you can get business cards very cheap.
Oh,
You
yes.
put your name on
Yes.
a card and a number, and what you feel you're good at on the back, or if you don't have enough work experience, you can put your personality traits, work well with people, good at selling, or whatever the case may be. But here's the beauty in it. You don't have to be at a networking event. You can be standing in McDonald's or drive-through at McDonald's or anywhere in a grocery store, and you can say to somebody, you got to be bold in this. I'm looking for a job. I'd like to give you my card. If you just say that or introduce yourself, they're not going to remember you or may not even care, but they will at least take your card. You don't ever know who you're giving your card to, and that's the beauty and power of it. It presents a very professional and polished interaction and a very great image of you that you took the time to do this in such a professional way. I think it's a brilliant aspect and great number one thing for the checklist. Now, you also say a basic current resume, one that you believe in. Tell us what that means.
Well, in today's world, you want to adjust your resume to the different jobs that are out there. So a core resume that you just say, oh, this is me, and this is who I am, and this is great. And the reason I say one that you believe in, I've been running job networking groups for over 25 years, and there was a situation where people come in, they report their successes, and this one gentleman came in, and he said, I had so-and-so look over my resume, and I made these two little tweaks, and his comment was, I love my resume. Before that, he's always had, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And after he said, I love my resume, within 2 weeks he had his first interview. But before that, he wasn't getting any hits. So if you don't believe in what piece of paper that you're putting out there, belief is the most critical piece about your resume. Do you believe in it? And people ask me, thousands of people have asked me to review their resume. I say, absolutely not. So my next question then, after they ask me, is, what do you believe about your resume? Do you believe your resume is going to get you in the door? Because that's all it's supposed to do. And if they say no or maybe, I say, well, work on it until you say absolutely yes. And then it works.
Yeah. And you know what I'd like to add to that, Jeff, is that it's one thing to have all your technical information, but again, people are trying to look at your resume and see you and exactly what you said. Do you believe in you? You just said you changed a couple of words. Those things jump out, like neon signs when you word it in a way that really expresses what you were doing at that job. So, really pay special attention to it. You had a job title, you had a position, but express in a sentence what it is in a way that showed that you were an asset or a wonderful contribution to whatever it is that was going on. And never minimize your contribution, because apparently you were a part of the workflow process that did bring some value. So no position can be undervalued in that way. Everybody who's making a contribution is important to the process.
When I'm working with job seekers or speaking to a group of them, and I'll have them go around the room and describe what they're looking for, but also, what was their last position? Oh, it's just the salesman. A company doesn't have any flow through if there aren't sales. Why should they even create a product if it can't be sold? So never put just. I was just a secretary. I was just an engineer. I was just a handyman. All of those things are important.
They sure are. And tell us, when you say a written description of the employment you desire, I have a question after you tell us that. Is it okay to put more than one position?
On a separate piece of paper, but we'll talk about that in a second. So a lot of people aren't sure as to what they want. Oh, I could do this or I could do that. Well, then write them both out. And I don't mean write down, put a job title. Many times, because I'm working in companies across the country, and they work with a department that's called customer service rep, and customer service rep, and customer service rep, and customer service rep, and 4 titles of customer service rep, and each person's doing a different job. So when I say describe the employment that you desire, write out what talents and abilities do you want to be using throughout the day. What are your skills? What are some of your personality traits that enhance, with what you do, so that you can see yourself in the position. And I even want you to get to the point of describing what's it going to look like. Are you going to be working in an office? Are you going to be working behind a machine? Are you going to be working in a cubicle? Are you going to be in an open workspace? Even describe the chair you're going to be sitting on if you're going to be sitting. Because the clearer that picture becomes in your head, the more magnetic you become. And you attract people who are going to direct you to that position. So spend time on this and put down the benefits for having that. Because we do things to gain a benefit. So you'll be working harder towards that.
So it's important to create a written statement.
Yeah, take a full page, write it out. If you're going to be in a team, how large is the team? What's going to be the ethnic mixture of the team? Everything. So the clear, it's like taking it. The sheet is an empty canvas, and with your words, you're creating a picture of what your employment will look like.
Sounds great. You say create a binder system for tracking your activity and successes. Can you clarify what that means?
Absolutely. Well, you have to consider I'm a little bit older than you are, so I use binders. But in my binder, a lot of younger people that I work with, they'll do it on the computer. For example, if I'm speaking to a group, I'll ask, how many here know how many resumes they've sent out? How many here know how many applications they completed? And seldom will people raise their hand. And one young lady did. I said, can you tell me how many applications and resumes? She says, yes, 783. Because she tracked every place, which enables you to go back and follow up. I haven't heard from number 14, so now I can send a postcard, or I can send an email, or now I can send something to just kind of follow up to let them know I'm still interested. And do they need any more information from me? So it enables you to not lose track of what you've done and what you need to do.
Jeff, I have a question about that, and it's just a Silver Ray Fox question. When I hear that a person sent out about 800 resumes, I'm wondering if that's just going on a site and just randomly trying to throw your resume up against the wall and hopefully somebody will see it and like it, or is it? I'm wondering if that lends itself to that, or did that person clarify if it was a focused job search? Because that sounds like maybe that's not what you really want to do.
Well, in this particular case, the person had been let go from their job because they felt that they had shared some information they shouldn't have shared about the company. So the person had to overcome a lot of barriers. And so after that, this particular person, did a shotgun approach, just was sending out, you're absolutely right, that's exactly what they were doing. But she kept track of it, and that's the most important thing.
Okay.
You want to focus in. When you're sending out, remember the thing right before it, the written job description of the employment you desire? That's where you want to be focusing. What are the positions that fulfill that? That's where I want to be sending out my resume. So, I was a teacher early in my life. Am I going to send out educate across the board? No, of course not. I was a special ed teacher. I have to do this. All right, I want to be a trainer. Okay, then I have to focus on training. But it's all going to be based upon that written description for employment. That's why it's so important, because it helps give you the direction with which to be sending out your, filling in applications and sending out resumes.
Yeah, great. Thanks for clarifying that. The next thing you have on your list, I know, is so critical. Daily habits for your job search. Plan tomorrow. tonight.
I always, when I'm working with a job seeker, I let them know they now have a full-time job. And that full-time job is to find full-time
looking
employment.
for a job.
Exactly. And, because unfortunately, and I hear this all the time, oh, well, I couldn't do that because my buddy called me and said, hey, you're free during the day. Why don't let's go play around the golf? Oh, no, okay. Is that getting you closer to your job search? Well, it could if you're talking to them about, who does he know and who's in the foursome and, do they know anybody? But just to go out and play golf for the fun of it, what activities do you need to be doing on a day-by-day basis? Just like when you were in your job, you had to do certain things each day. Well, every day you need to be looking to see what openings there are. Every day you need to look and see, all right, I filled out these 3 applications. Where do I stand with that? And do they need any additional information? So you need follow-up. You need to find new opportunities. You need to follow up on the old opportunities. You need to send thank you letters, whether you got the job or not. So there's a list of things that you need to be doing daily in your job search, and you have to hold yourself accountable. My favorite example is, the closet needed painting, so I painted the closet. Okay, how's that going to happen?
It's just a distraction.
So, and anyone, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Because it's,
Jeff,
it's hard to,
go ahead.
It's hard to always hold yourself accountable, especially to yourself. That's the reason for working with either another team or finding a networking group that you can hold yourself accountable to, or starting an accountability group with people who are in job search so you report your successes.
Yeah. I'm going to wrap your next 3 all in one because they kind of overlap, but they're so very important. You say to participate in large group activities, be a part of a supportive network of friends, and go to a networking event weekly. And those kinds of things really do keep your morale up, I believe. And, too, it could just be the one time where you do get an opportunity to open up.
Well, the large group activities typically are presentations either put together by a church or put together by government organizations to talk about, the job search process. And it's more of a presentation to the group because we need to keep our eyes and ears open, and maybe there's somebody in there that's I hit it off with, and I can hold that person, ask that person to hold me accountable and create that the one below, the accountability group. So large groups help feed your spirit and help keep you motivated and keep you inspired, and then the smaller groups are really where you hold yourself accountable, especially if a person is married or is in a relationship, a live-in relationship. You don't want to have to hold yourself accountable to your spouse or to that other or to your partner. You want to be holding yourself accountable to someone outside of the home, and that's what the smaller groups, either the supportive network of friends or the weekly network for holding yourself accountable, because we do. Well, first off, who's your worst critic?
Give me that question, myself.
Yes, I'm asking you. Yeah, who's your? Yeah, exactly, yourself.
Myself.
Indeed. Now, who do you break more promises to than anybody else?
Probably myself as well, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so important to find someone or a group of people that you can hold yourself accountable to. What did you do last week? Oh, I went and I played golf, but I did this and this and this and this. Oh, that's great. Because then you're outside of your home and you can talk about, this worked and son of a gun, this did. Or at home, you just want to be talking positive. Well, here's an opportunity to say, this didn't work and I was really feeling lousy. Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You can feel lousy. Just don't stay there. Set your timers.
For
you
sure.
Feel lousy for 10 minutes and then get yourself back up. Read your description of employment that you desire. Read all the benefits for having that. And, boy, that'll get you motivated to go back to work.
For sure. Well, listen, Jeff, we're down to 5 minutes, and I'm going to just kind of
Okay.
reflect on one of them, and then I'd like you to close with the next thing I'm going to bring out that I think is so important. But you say use a professional email address. So your email address shouldn't be ilovemyboo@gmail.com. It should say something that lends itself to a professional-sounding name, your name, or something more generic. But don't use those types of things in your email that you're using for getting employed. It's a big turn-off, and very often employers will not even give your information a second glance. Jeff, what I'd like you to share with people is the 10 to 20-second elevator pitch. And I know that that's the classic term that most people use, but it's really just in case you meet somebody or you need to share with somebody what it is you're looking for. That information should be concise, and you're not going, well, I don't know, I'm just looking for a job. What do you say in regard to that?
You want to look at your talents and abilities. For example, what I say is I sell tests, and it always ends up somebody asks me a question. What you want to do is you want to get something out there that shows them that you are special, that you're unique. On the elevator, it takes 6 seconds to go from one floor to the other. So, figure 10 seconds is what I like. And what are you going to say on the elevator? And that's going to get their attention. That's going to hold their attention, and they're going to ask you a question. I said, I don't have time to answer right now. Here's my business card, number one. Here's my business card, and do you have a card? And then you leave, and then you have a reason to follow up. The elevator pitch is not a speech. Well, I worked at so-and-so, I did this and this. No. It's how did you help a company? That's probably the most important thing.
Yeah, and something just as simple as I'm looking for a job in the area of customer service. I do this and that and the other is plenty of information to offer, correct?
Oh, that's more than enough. In fact, I would just rephrase it to say, I'm looking for a position. I help my clients. I help my company's customers be happy. Wow, how do you do that? Here, I don't have time. Here's my card. Something that's going to hook them. Something's going to hook them.
Yeah. Well, this is great info, Jeff, and I'm really glad that you were able to we really did get through most of the important things, and the other things that they kind of worked into the other information that you shared. I know there are probably people who would like to learn more about you. Can you tell them how they can get your wonderful books and how they can get hold of you?
Absolutely. Well, some of my books are on Amazon or any of your favorite ebook stores, because two of my books are ebooks, and they're at your favorite ebook stores. And if you just look under Jeffrey R. Percival, I pop up. One is, since we're talking about this, Job Search Survival Kit, and proven techniques that I've used over the last 30 years to help people who are employed. And if you want, you just go to my website, perc-ent.com, and it'll list my books. And if you want, you can contact me through that and ask for the newly unemployed checklist. I'll send one over to you. And anytime, if you have a question, just look me up on my website and give me a call. I'll be more than happy to talk with you.
Yes, and I'd also like to add that he is a wonderful trainer and also available to come into talk to work teams and all that. We've actually done that type of work together, and so I do want to make sure I emphasize that he is wonderful with so many workplace issues and the things that make people successful at work. So, Jeff, thanks a million for being here with me today. You have yourself an awesome day. I look forward to talking to you next time.
Same here. Bye now.
Thank all of you as well, as usual. You know how much I appreciate you. I told you that in the beginning. Please share with your friends about Foxology today. I'm trying to do something really good for you, empowering and educational, exciting, all of that. So tell your friends about it on social media. I am going to wish you an amazing day. I hope that you will, if this information applied to you, you can use it and share it with someone who can. In the meantime, you know what I say, be good, be blessed, be awesome.